I'm out here in Blanchardstown this morning talking to one of Ireland's most successful footballers. League of Ireland goal scorer par excellence, man who's won every domestic honour in the game, one of the very few League of Ireland players ever to be called up for the Irish international team. Glen Crowe, it's nice to talk to you this morning, Glen.
Pleasure to be here.
It's very appropriate, Glen, we're here in Blanche because that's where you come from, brought up.
That's right, yeah, just across the field. I remember when I was growing up, I used to be playing football on these fields well before the Blanchardstown Centre or the Drake Stratton was here. Like, this is where we used to kick the ball and play football, yeah. It's only a stone throw across the road there. Yeah.
And was it football from the beginning, Glen, or did you dabble in any other sports?
No, it would have been primarily football now. I wouldn't have had an interest until I was about 7. I remember my older brother used to give me a few slaps and put me out against the wall and whack balls at me, so it's always been football, but I probably would have been forced into it at that age, but shortly after, you know what I mean. I think I joined my first club, St Mochtas, when I was 7 or 8. Yeah. And ever since then I've loved it.
Yeah. Any sport in history in the family?
My dad was a good footballer, has an under 15 Ireland cap. I think he played a few League of Ireland games, but then sort of gave up after that. But like, he'd have been big into the football then. Yeah.
So you said so Mochtas, the local club, was the first, about 7 when you started.
That's right. I think it was under 7s, and it could have been under 8s. It would have been the club closest to my house that actually had a team. There was Mountfree boys and girls across the road, but they didn't have a team my age. So me and a few of my mates went up to St Mochtas. A lot of my mates are a year older, so I used to play for my team. Then under 9s, 10s, used to play for the older team as well.
Yeah. Any of them you started with? Did you keep in touch with, or any of them turn out to be successful like you?
No, there's some good footballers that would have had decent careers, like, but none that would have played League of Ireland at a high standard. Played against a few. Ian Hart, he would have been playing for St Kevin's against us. A few others would have played for Glebe North now. But the team that I was on, none would have had League of Ireland, but we had a very good team in saying that. Yeah.
And how did you get successful immediately? Did you win anything with Mochtas?
Mochtas, we were in the Brentford North Dublin League, and we used to win 2-3 trophies nearly every year. I think there was only 3 teams that were contestants for trophies every year. Ourselves, Glebe North and Portmarnock. And between the 3 of us, we would have won nearly everything. Now, as I said, we would have won 3-4 trophies nearly every year, whether between winners and runners up and cup finals and all. Yeah. So it would have been successful in winning trophies from a young age, which obviously would have kept the interest.
Kept the enthusiasm going. Yeah. And was there any stage, Glen, when you realised yourself, well, yeah, because I could be good at this. This is something now that I could make a career out of.
No, not until
at that stage. No,
definitely not until well into secondary school. Before I was happy playing with my mates and obviously winning trophies and scoring lots of goals, and I was enjoying it that way. But I think it would have been a couple of years. I think I joined Stella Maris under 13s, I think it was, and they would have asked me. There was a couple of lads in my class that played for them, but had been asking me for a couple of years before that. But my dad wouldn't let me leave Mochtas. I still have no idea why.
Your local,
the local team, wouldn't let me. So I was begging for a couple of years, and then eventually said, "Go on." I don't know whether he thought maybe it was the right time, maybe he was holding me. I honestly don't know. He let me just under 13 to join Stella Maris, which would have been one of the top teams in Ireland. Obviously, definitely in Dublin in the DDSL. We went straight into a successful team again. So. Yeah.
And was there much of a difference between the structures, the setup? As you say, Maris, like Johnny Giles started, right? But years and years ago, Stella Maris was always, they had that kind of a name in Dublin.
Yeah, I don't think there would have been much difference in the setups now. Obviously, it's a long time ago now, from what I remember. No, I just think they would have been able to attract better players. Obviously, with Stella Maris, we had Simon Webb coming from Ballyhonus, County Mayo, to play games on the weekend, so they were able to attract top players, not just from Dublin surrounding areas, but further afield, whereas St Mochtas was always just local lads.
Of course.
So basically, if the local lads done well, a couple of lads went to St Kevin's from Mochtas. So if you done well at Mochtas, you were going to go to a bigger, better club.
Yeah. How long did you stay with Maris?
I stayed from under 13s to under 17s, and that's when I went over under 17s.
Yeah. Now that's what that every aspiring footballer would you know, be looking across the water and hoping to get... I mean, what was that like when... Did you know that there were scouts watching you, or at that time?
At that time when I was playing for Stella, I didn't know they were looking at me. I knew there would have been a lot of scouts at all our games where they're looking at other players on Stella Maris or whatever team we're playing for. There was nearly 2, 3, 4 scouts at nearly every game. So, like, you knew you had a good chance during the shop window. It was up to you to play well. Myself, I think I got my first trial when it would have been after the Kennedy Cup, so I'd been under 14s, 15s, probably under 15s. Went over to Aston Villa a couple of times, but all the other lads would have been gone out. A lot of the other lads on the team would have been gone over a lot earlier and would have been signed with clubs and all this, but obviously couldn't go over till they were a certain age. And then when I did end up signing for Wolves, I was under 18, so I was late going over. Everyone else gone over when they were 15. I went over when I was 17.
Yeah. And what was that like?
It was brilliant. It was going on trial was exciting. It was nerve wracking, obviously having to leave home, and I went over on my own. So it was nerve wracking, but at the same time, it was exciting. You're there thinking, yeah, I've got a good chance here. Now, obviously, the stats are probably different now. There's a lot more kids gone over now, and obviously the stats are coming back as it's probably frightening now, but back at the time when you're a kid, you don't think that. I just think I've got a chance to go over here and get a career for myself over in England. And no, it was exciting. And the clubs I was at, Aston Villa, Coventry, Tranmere, went on trial, but then Wolves I signed for. They looked after the lads brilliantly. Yeah. And who was managing the Wolves at that time? When I was gone over on trial, it was Graham Taylor, the ex-England manager, right. And then when I did sign and move over, he was the manager for 6 months. Then he got the sack, and Mark McGee came in after him. Oh, right, that would be about 6 months that I was over there. After 6 months I was over there. And you settled in fairly quickly, did you? Did you any homesickness or? And I would have had homesickness now. I was 17, so I'd say the first month or two, 6 weeks maybe, it was hard because I didn't get home for the first 6 weeks, so it was hard. I came home, realised that nothing really different at home, like, you know what I mean? My friends were still going to school, going to college, doing this, that and the other. Nothing had really changed, so I went back over and then settled in really quickly after the first spell home. And then I remember at Christmas, I came home for Christmas for about 10-12 days, and towards the end of it I was looking forward to going back. So that's when you settled in, assimilated, exactly. But it helped that I was playing well and scoring lots of goals for the youth team. So so that sort of helped me settle in. And then, as you say, I mean, it's like a career path of yours. Everywhere you went, you scored goals. Yeah. And when you got that call up for the first time against Charlton on your debut, you scored for Wolves in your first team. Is that right? Well, I'd been involved in the first team for a few weeks, couple of months, where I was travelling with them but not on the bench. The first game I was on the bench would have been. It was a home game against Bradford in Molyneux, and it was Don Goodman and Steve Bohr playing in front. Don Goodman fractured his skull, and I was warming up, so I thought, I'll go on here now. But as it turned out, I didn't go on that game. The next game was away to Reading on the bench again, and I think it was about 20 minutes to go. Mark McGee put me on, and so my debut was away to Reading, but my first full start was the game after that, which was away to Charlton. And that's the goal. The last game of the season, I scored a goal. Now Wolves were bottom half the table, but weren't going to get relegated. We were sure to stay up. So he called me the morning of the game. Thank God he didn't tell me the night before. God knows how the nerves would have been. But the morning of the game, we were going for a walk, and he just put me to one side and said, "Listen, I'm going to give you a chance. Just go out and don't bring any worry, but just go out and enjoy yourself and play your own game, and, do you know what I mean, relax and enjoy it." And lucky enough, I didn't have enough time to worry about it, so I was delighted to get the chance. And like I said, there was no pressure. It wasn't like they were going for the playoff place or they were going for relegation. They were happy mid-table. So still, it must have been a fantastic achievement. It was, exactly. Especially to play up front with Steve Bull, who was a legend. Who was an absolute Wolves legend. You know, probably the biggest and best player to play for the club. Was brilliant, but it was good. Only pity it was the last game of the season, so of course, but at the same time, it was the end of my first full season over there, so I mean, it was a great way to finish the first year. Of course, And you stayed with Wolves then for a couple of years. After that, I signed a 3-year contract after that, and stayed for 2.5, nearly to 3 years, and then ended up finishing off the last 3 months of the season down at Plymouth. not on loan. They ended up finishing at Wolves and going on there to finish out the season.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about that now at Plymouth. I mean, I'd say you've played in some fantastic games in your career all over the world. But you played in that famous Jimmy Glass game.
That's right.
That we still talk about.
That's right. Yeah. It was the last week of the season, and I think we had Scunthorpe. No, sorry, Scarborough. The second last game of the season, and it was between Scarborough and Carlisle for getting relegated. We had both of them away last 2 games of the season. So we went to Scarborough, and on the Tuesday I can't remember what day it was, and we got stuffed 3-0. I was on the bench for that game, didn't play. So the last game of the season, played up front. We were winning 1-0 with about not long to go anyway, and they got an equaliser. So the last 5-10 minutes was just pure pressure from Carlisle, because same as the Worcester situation, we had nothing to lose. We were safe mid-table. They had nothing to lose. They were in the relegation zone at this stage. They had to win, not even a draw, win. So they're pushing forward. I think it was 3 minutes in the injury time, they got a corner, and I was back defending. There were so many bodies there that I don't think anyone was picking anybody up, just filling in areas. So corner came in, went over my head, about 2-3 feet behind me. Jimmy Glass heads it, our keeper saves it, pushes it out, but straight to his feet, and he just whacks it into the goal. All hell breaks loose. Fans, thousands of fans run onto the pitch. Game wasn't over at this stage. So the referee cleared the pitch, and there was myself and another fella taking tip off. He said, "Listen, as soon as you tip off here, just run. Don't even. I'm going to blow the whistle, just roll the ball and run straight for the tunnel." And that's what we did. The fans were pouring on, and
it's phenomenal, because that kept Carlisle.
That kept that
in the football league.
And dropped Scarborough out.
And I think there was nearly 8,000 people at that match.
Yeah, and I think all of them were on the pitch within 5 seconds of the final whistle.
It's unbelievable. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was a great game. Looking back, it was a great game to be involved in.
Of course, because it's still, as I say, they still talk about it.
That's it. I still switch on Sky Sports every once in a while and see Jimmy Glass talking about it.
This is it. He's driving a taxi now, I think. So during that period, then, when you were there, you went to Malaysia and played in the World Youth Championships.
That's right. That would have been
97.
Yeah, that would have been, say, the end of my second year in England. The year before, we played in European Championships in France. We'd finished 6th.
Yeah.
Out of, I think it was 8 teams, but the top 6 teams qualified for the World Youth Cup the year later. That was 97 in Malaysia. So while we probably, I wouldn't say lucky to qualify, we qualified as the last place in the European Championships. Went over there. Remember acclimatising down in Limerick University, and it was roasting hot. We had to have rain jackets on to help us. Must have been nearly melting. Nearly melted there. But we went over there. I didn't really know what to expect, but we went over there, had an absolute great campaign, great tournament like that.
Finished third.
Finished third, yeah. I think the first game we got beat by Ghana. It was only 1-0. It was a tight enough game. Then we ended up qualifying out of the group. We played China and America. We drew 1-1. Then into the qualifiers, into knockout stages. And I mean, we were very good defensively. We kept it tight, and we were able to nick goals. Trevor Malloy, now Damien Duff scored a golden goal against Spain. It could have been Spain. It was, yeah. And we just kept going, and there was, like I said, there was no pressure on us. We were just going into the next game, happy to be there. And then we played Argentina in the semi-final. I'm sure they had a load of players that are probably still playing now. Cambiasso played for them. He was only 15 at the time. It was unbelievable. But we lost 1-0, but it's a game that we could have easily won, or you know what I mean, or took the extra time, wherever. I remember we had a few good chances. So it's disappointing that we played Ghana in the 3rd and 4th place playoff, and beat them. I think it was 2-1.
That's right. Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? So overall, it was a great tournament. I think we went in just enjoy the experience and see how far we went. And
well, as you say, I mean, there's very few Irish teams would actually knock Spain out of a knockout competition or qualified days and lose to the winners narrowly.
That's it. And if you actually, obviously at the time, you wouldn't have known, but looking back over, I know Sylvestre, Henry, Trezeguet, they all played for France. You'd have had Carragher, Lampard with Liverpool, or with England.
Yeah.
You had Cambiasso, Neymar was it? There's a good few. If you look at all the teams, Spain had a few.
Oh yeah,
So you look at anybody that's about 34, 35 that are playing in their national team now. Chances are they would have been there. Yeah.
But as you said, Malaysia's hot. You know, we're talking about the World Cup being held in Qatar. Or
yeah, it's just a real dead heat. It's not even like a sunny sunshine heat. It's like real cloudy, muggy.
Yeah, you'd wonder whether it's suitable for
exactly,
football to find the tournaments, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But so that was your at that stage you got the bronze medal there for the.
That's right.
In the, and you're still over in England.
Still in England, yeah.
When '99 came, when did you decide, or did you decide yourself then that I'm going to come back?
Not really. No, the end of my first year over there. There's a few lads came over and tried. Robbie Keane was one of them after Wolves. Keith Andrews, two other lads from Ireland. They all signed. So as I said, at the end of the first year, I made my debut, scored. Then the next, I did a bit of pre-season with Wolves the next year, but that's when we went to France. So I missed a good bulk of pre-season. So when I came back, I was in and around the first team, but not as involved as I'd like to be. Probably to do it being away for them. 2 weeks of course preparing and over France.
Yeah.
I played a few games the next season, sort of in and out. Wolves are one of the clubs that had a bit of money, so if they had an injury or whatever, they'd go and buy a player. I remember they brought Dougie Friedman in, David Connolly, did all these players coming in. They just go and replace them. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a club that was struggling for money that would had to go to the youth team and
promote people. Yeah.
And then so I went out on loan the end of the next season to Exeter. And done very well, scored 6 goals in 10 games and finished the season well.
Yeah.
Then came back to pre-season, done a good pre-season, but that was the pre-season that Robbie Keane made his debut against Norwich and scored 2. And he was a regular ever since then, and rightly so. You see him in the youth team and what he's done since then, he was brilliant. Like.
Of course, yeah.
So they always had money, then they had Robbie Keane, so next few years I'd play a couple of games but be going out on loan and that. So then this last 6 months of my contract at Wolves, just got called in the office, said, listen, you've been brilliant, love to have you, but you know what I mean, there's not a contract there for you. So then I ended up going down to Plymouth, finished out the season.
Right.
As I said, the last game was the Jimmy Glass game. Then I came home, my old youth team manager Rob Kelly, I was ringing him for a bit of advice, and he said that his cousin of his is managing Bowes, which was Roddy Collins. He said, listen, do you want me to have a word with him? He said, I know, he wouldn't have a problem. So I met Roddy a few days later and ended up signing for Bowes. We're not even seeing. Well, he took me for a tour around the ground and that, and obviously Roddy's got the gift of the gab. But
I was going to say that it's going to be hard to say no to him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I went down, when he took me on the tour of the Daily Mount, it was when the All Stand was up there and it was going to be demolished in a few days, and he was telling me the plans and all this, and I had nothing to lose and thought, sure, why not? If Rob Kelly recommends him, it can't be a bad thing. Yeah.
And then you hit Daily Mount, and it's nearly coincides with a great period of Bowes. I mean, between the leagues and that. Yeah. I mean, it's straight away that it seemed to be successful.
That's right. I think the season. Well, the season before I signed, they were in the relegation playoff against Crowe. I think they ended up winning 6-0 or something like that. So obviously I didn't know this when I signed. Not that would have made a difference, but that was something that Roddy didn't tell me at the time. But I signed for the year, came in. I did an okay first season. We ended up finishing, I think it was 3rd, qualifying for Europe, and obviously after being in a relegation battle before, that was seen as a success. So we went in the next season, made a few good signings, built on the squad we had, brought in some new faces. I don't know if we were, looking back now, I don't know if we were actually talking about winning the league and all that, but as it turned out, it ended up being a great season. We ended up winning the double. The first season we got to the cup final, got beaten by Shell, so I mean, it was a good platform to build from. The next season we ended up winning the league. Last game of the season, I think we were going into the last game of the season, we were away to Kilkenny. Shells were at home to Cork, and we had to win and hope that the result went for us the other way, and as it worked out, it happened. So we ended up winning the league and then had the cup final to enjoy the next week.
Fantastic, yeah. Great, as you say, great start for coming back here.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The second season is the one that had a very good season, scored loads of goals and was able to build on. The first season was sort of believe it or not, a settling in period back, being back home after being away for 4 years.
Yeah. But you scored 35 goals
that season,
which is phenomenal.
Yeah,
for
exactly. 25 in the league and then 10
you know?
between cup games and European games and all that.
Yeah.
And, but just really enjoyed it, and then that coincided with Bows going full time, like as in training every day. Everyone's in most people are in training every day, and so that was how we were able to be successful for a few years after that, on and off.
And you did, as I said. I mean, that was your first League of Ireland medal.
Yeah.
I mean, you've won 5 of them now. But 4 of them were with Bows.
4 with Bows.
In 2 different stints.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bows have had their money problems down the years. But when I first came back, everything was done proper for us. It was when I first came back, it was half professional. There was a few lads. There was a load of half the lads were working, half the lads were in training every day. So that was a bit awkward. Second year, I think there was only 1 or 2 lads that were working. The rest were in training every day, which obviously helped to help with the success. That you have lads that are training every single day, and do you know what I mean, they're getting a rapport in the dressing room, but they're also being able to work on things on the training ground. And then we were able to build on that for a few years after. I know we won 2 leagues in that spell, the cup. Yeah. Then I ended up going to Shells and then back to Bows, and we were able to carry on. Yeah,
and that must be good. They must be good times. I mean, the first stint there with Bows, because Bows, I think they got 25 years before they'd won, since they won their last league title.
That's right, yeah.
So I mean, it must have been, and then the icing on the cake for you personally then was getting called up to the international team.
Definitely. Yeah. That it goes back to the style of football we were playing. We were an attacking team. A lot of attacking teams probably have a tendency to leak in goals, but we were solid at the back and we were very good going forward. As I said, I scored loads of goals. Got the call up into one of the squads before I actually made my debut. I got called up into the squad. Who was it? I think it was home to Portugal and away to Estonia. I was just training with the squad for the Portugal game. I think a couple of lads got injured. I pulled out, so I got brought into the squad. Travelled off to Estonia. I obviously didn't play or anything, but it's just great to be around that, sort of knowing that like you're doing well, you're getting recognised for doing well in Ireland, which I think it was 16 years before that. That's right, wasn't it?
I mean, very, very few League of Ireland players.
It would have been 16 years, so just to know that you're getting recognised for doing well was brilliant. Like, and to get called up was a big boost to me, just to train with the lads. Like, I would have known a couple of the lads from youth team football, like youth internationals with, like, say, Ian Hart, Stephen Carter playing schoolboy football with, Robbie Keane, all that sort of lads. So it wasn't going into a completely new situation. I knew some of the lads, so they made you feel welcome. So it was a brilliant experience and sort of capped off a great season. Yeah,
well, as I say, I mean, to have 2 international caps, when you look at the number of League of Ireland players in the last 40 years that have ever been called up.
Pat Bourne, myself, then I know Jason Bourne, Joe Gamble and Alan Bennett.
Yeah, you can count one hand.
You'd know them all now at this stage. Yeah.
Now, after that first spell with Bows, then you headed to Tolka.
That's
now,
right.
As a Bows supporter, I know Shamrock Rovers is the big derby, but I mean, had you any misgivings about that?
No. Well, what happened was, in all honesty, Bows were having a bit of financial trouble. There was contract talks going on with Bows, not just myself, but I think it was most of the players were out of contract at this stage. There was talks going on, and then nearly as quickly as they started, they were stopped. The club were saying that they wanted to wait and see where they finish, see what prize money they get for it before they give it out, and sponsorships and all that, which was fine. But they ended up talking to a couple of lads, and obviously work got back, so I wasn't happy with that, so I ended up talking to Shells. Got a good offer there, but I thought the way Bows' financial was, I didn't think they'd be competing as well as they would the last few years. Obviously, as our contract, I was more than entitled to talk to any club. I wanted to talk to a couple. And for me, Shells was the best footballing move. They'd won the league the 2 years previous. Was it 2 years previous? Yeah, they'd won the league 2 years previous, so I thought they'd done that. They're looking to build to the squad. They're looking to add to their squad. I could see that. I honestly could have seen them dominating for a few years. So that's
of course.
That's the decision, was football, to try and win more trophies and, and be successful.
Yeah. And
now, if both hadn't put the contract talks on hold, I probably would have ended up signing back.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have got to the stage where I was talking to Shells. But like, once the decision was made, I went in, and in fairness, it was a great club. It was run from a player's point of view brilliantly, but obviously we know the problems they've had since then. So, but from a player's point of view, everything was done for you. There was no problem. Training was brilliant. Pat Fennan was great manager. You Eamon Collins, he was top notch coach. Yeah. Best players in the country. First season there, it was okay. I think we finished third in the league. Lost the Satanta Cup final. So it wasn't, after winning the league 2 years previously, like I said, and doing so well in Europe against Deportivo and Lille and that. I don't think it was seen as a great season, but in fairness, past Stuttgart, there wasn't a million things wrong, and we ended up going out and win the league the next season.
I know. And then the irony of it.
The last game of the season.
Who scores the winning goal against Bowes?
Last game of the season was at home to Bowes. Derry were, I think, playing Cork up in Derry, so I think we were ahead in goal difference. So we just had to match their score. We went 1-0 down the first half to a bizarre goal. Then second half got a penalty. Stewie Bourne scored it, and then after that, Jason Bourne put in a great cross, and I was lucky enough able to score the winner that won us the league. But in saying that, like, you look back at the table, it'll say that we beat Derry on goal difference, but that season Dublin City went bust, so we'd beaten them, so we had them 3 points taken off us because they expunged the results, whereas Derry drew them, so they only had 1 point taken off. And then there was talk of Derry having a player registered that wasn't registered properly, all this sort of stuff, but in the end you might win by goal difference or win by points.
Doesn't matter, as you say,
it's a medal.
It's another party, that's your third league medal.
Exactly,
yeah. So then, but you're back to Dalymount.
That's right. The same thing happened at Shells. I don't know what the situation, whether they overspent to try and get the success or whatever, but the financial situation wasn't great, so we were all released. So I ended up talking to, it would have been Jerry Conway and Jerry Cuff, who run Bowes down there, about going back, and obviously talking to Sean Connor at the time. Once I knew Shells was basically going bust, getting relegated and all that, and the financial troubles, there's only one place I wanted to go back. I did talk to a couple of other clubs, but there's only one place I really wanted to go back, which was Dalymount, and fortunate enough that was able to happen.
I know, but it's like as if you had the Mochtas touch, because back you go, and a double in 2008.
Yeah, that's right. I signed back in 2007 with Sean Connor. We considering 2 seasons before that, it was a successful season. It was a good, same as the first year, so it was a good platform to build on from. Then Pat Fennan came in at the end of the fourth season and basically just came in, did the same things he did at Shells, which is proven to be successful down the years. And then his fourth season we were able to win the double.
That's right.
The double, the first year, and then we won the double the second year with the League Cup.
League Cup, exactly.
That's right,
So I mean, when you look at every, as I said at the start of the interview, you know, I mean, you've won every domestic honour, not just once. I mean, some players would, you know, if they win one league title in their whole career.
Yeah, no, not myself. There's players down the years that I've played with in my early days at Bowes that would have been playing for 10 years and won nothing. Do you know what I mean? So that was something I was. Obviously, you're scoring goals, you're going to get the offers to go to the successful clubs, but do you know what I mean? I'm not the type of player that creates chances for myself, so you know what I mean? It's the teams I've been in, luckily enough, have been successful, have been good teams that create chances for
and you finish them.
I've been lucky enough to be the one at the end of them.
Yeah. I read before sometime that someone said when you broke Turlough O'Connor's record that you weren't aware of it initially.
No, I wasn't. No.
You must have been the only Bohemians.
That's right. Yeah, we're playing Rovers. Yeah, it was Rovers at the time, and I didn't have a clue. It wasn't something that I heard or read or kept an eye on myself. I think it was, we beat them in Tolka Park 1-0, and I scored the winner obviously. And Stephen Burke, who's direct down to the club. He'd just take pictures and all that, and he was going by and says, "Oh, congratulations! Oh, thanks, and lovely 3 points." You know what I mean? And nice to do it against Rovers and talking that sort of stuff. He went, "No, I won the record." I went, "Oh, right, what record would that be?" And he said, breaking Turlock O'Connor's record. I didn't even know that I was level with him or anything.
Yeah.
Or maybe I did and I just forgot about it. But all right, thanks. That's Stephen for you. He's great for the stats and the great knowledge of the game and the club and all. So yeah, so it was a surprise to me.
But it's amazing, and I know you tend to say football is a team game, and all the individual accolades you've got and the records you created, you tend to be very, not blasé about them, but to say as part of a team, and which is true. But I mean, it's extremely difficult, Glen, when you look at your career. The number of achievements that you have made on an individual basis. The Turlock O'Connor breaking the record, the Bohemians record, they didn't think that would be broken for a long time.
That's right.
I mean, I think you're 5th or 6th in the all-time League of Ireland scoring.
That's right.
record. You've scored the most goals in Europe by any domestic player.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It must give you a great sense of satisfaction.
It does, yeah, definitely, and I hope the lads I've played with down the years, they get satisfaction now as well, because they're the ones that, as I said, help create. I mean, I'm not one of them players that, like a Robbie Keane, that can create things for themselves. I'm the one that sort of like just tries to get at the end of stuff. But no, it is, but in all honesty, you probably get more enjoyment out of the team.
Of course,
winning the league. That's what you start the whole season for.
Yeah.
When you're doing pre-season, you run up and down hills and around parks and nearly spewing your guts up.
And
that's what you do.
That's what you're striving for. Yeah.
And the individual goals, whether it be getting the top goal scorer or player of the year or all that sort of recognition is brilliant. But it's the one that you really want, that you set out at the start of every year is the collective one, is the league trophy, the cup trophy. The other ones are just a great bonus at the end of it. Yeah.
We talked about managers that you've played for. Pat Fenlon.
Yeah.
You had him in Shells, he followed you then to Bowes.
That's right, yeah.
And look at him now with Hibs over in Scotland. He's doing great. I mean, could you see something in Pat that
definitely,
that he could manage at that level?
No, definitely. Ask anybody that's played under him. I'm sure they'd only have good things to say about him. When I went into Shells, I was just amazed at how simple he kept things, but how effective it was. Never asked anything from a player that he knew they couldn't give. Wouldn't ask a big centre half to go and play the ball if he wasn't comfortable. Just go out. All he ever asked for was 100% commitment, 100% effort. Give everything you have. Leave nothing out on the field when the game's over. If you fall over the ball, he said, doesn't have a problem with that, so long as you're trying to do the right things and you're working hard. And that's the big thing I got when I went into Shells, was how simply kept it, but how effective it was, and how players bought into it and were willing to do it for him.
And as you say, I mean, the record proves how successful.
Exactly, yeah. And you look at how well he's doing at Hibs now. After he didn't go into a great situation last season, but he was able to keep them up. And now you look at them, they're second in the table. They were top there for a spell.
Yeah. So then Sproting Fingal came along in 2010.
That's right. Yeah, the Bowes thing again. There was contract was up. They didn't have a lot of money. I think they spent a lot of money to get the success as well. Obviously the economy was on its way down again, so money wasn't as easily available. Then there was new rules coming in through the FAI that you could only spend so much of your income on wages and all that. So there wasn't a contract offer there for me. So I ended up talking to Liam Buckley. They're going to Fingal now. They'd only just got promoted from the 4th division. They'd won the FAI Cup, so they were in Europe in the Setanta Cup. So that was a great lure for me. Obviously staying in Dublin, having Europe, having the Setanta Cup, full-time football as well for the 4th division team coming up to be full-time was probably unheard of.
Of course,
and, his style of football. I remember talking to Trevor Malloy. Probably 5, 6, 7 years before that, and he'd played under him at Shamrock Rovers, and he was telling me at the time that he'd love to play under Liam Buckley. All he wanted for us to do was stay in the box, get chances, you know what I mean?
Perfect for a striker.
He's an attacking minded coach, and I found that when I went into Fingal, it was brilliant to play on there. Yeah,
it was unfortunate the way the demise of the club came then. Did you got 2 seasons with them?
No, I'd only one. I'm starting to think it's me, not the clubs. Every club.
No, I was just saying you had the Mochtas touch when you went and winning all these league titles. But say we never were talking about it. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, every I leave every club because they've not me. But no, it was a great club to go to. It's just they had the backing and that ended up falling through, and it didn't give them enough time to find new investors or new sponsors or advertisers or whatever you want to get money in. So just unfortunate the way it happened, because in all honesty, if they could have held on to another few years, they were definitely heading in the right direction. I think we finished high up in the table, probably toward that season after just getting promoted, and the brand of football that we were playing was brilliant. Like, obviously all down to Liam. He's done it everywhere he's been. He's doing it at Pats again the last season. He'll do it no matter where he goes. That's all managers have their thing. That's his thing. It's a good, attractive attacking style of football. So it's just a shame that that Fingal ended up folding, because it was definitely had the right philosophy and heading in the right direction. The
potential was there, as you say.
Definitely,
And when you retired then from professional football,
that's right. At the end of that season,
you were still very young. I mean, were you tempted to give it another sting?
But like myself, if I want to get the best out of myself, I need to be training every day in, day out, which I had done since I left school and at 17. And I talked to a couple of clubs, and they were part-time, training twice a week, and like the money wasn't great, and obviously I'd only ever been a professional footballer, so the money they were offering wasn't enough to live off, so obviously I'd had to try and find another source of income, and I just felt that the commitment for the football for the money it was at the time wasn't worth it. Like, it wasn't the case that I had niggling injuries or anything, touch wood of being virtually injury free throughout my career. A couple of little niggles, but nothing major. I just felt it was time for a change. Part-time football, the commitment, it's called part-time football, but the commitment, and I'm sure you ask a lot of the part-time lads that are playing now, the commitment is huge. It's nearly as much as full-time, only it's a different time of the day you're training.
And like you're still scoring goals now for Malahide United, and
still scoring goals, still enjoying it. It's an attacking style of football we play, where we like to try and play football, and like we had a very successful season last season in the Leinster Senior League Senior Sunday 1. It had a great season, where scored a rake load of goals as a team and got promoted. This season is a little bit slower. Obviously teams are better, and we're having an okay season.
But it must be great for the other lads, for young lads playing, to have somebody like you with your experience and your great track record, training and playing with them.
You'd have to ask them. No, I don't know.
I don't imagine so.
No, look, I'm enjoying it. I'm learning, still learning new things all the time. Like off some of the young lads, some great lads out there, real honest, hard-working lads. But still come across a lot of ex-League of Ireland players that are playing for other teams in the league. That Trevor Malloy, he's playing for Bluebell. You'd have who else is there? Nearly every week there's new one. Alan Carlise was down with us last season. He's back up training with us now again this season, who would have been at Shells when they were at Deportivo. There's a lot of lads you'd come across now.
But still, I suppose it's in the blood. It's such a part of your life.
No matter what, as long as I'm able to kick a ball,
that's the next question I was going to ask you then. I mean, there's no retirement date in your head at all. You just enjoy it now.
So long as I'm physically able to, I will. I'm sure I'll play over 35. I'm not 35 for another month or so. Probably I'll be over 35s after that, as soon as the young lads are getting too quick.
Well, that's the only thing we have in common, Glen, is that I played football too, but the only thing we have in common is our birthday.
Christmas Day.
Alright.
You know how awkward it is. So.
Well, I do, but in terms of football, no, there's nothing there. So you were saying there, I mean, you're enjoying your football now at Malahide United.
Yeah, very much so.
And you've set yourself up now in a fitness business.
Glen Crowe Fitness. It's just something, like I said, it's something that I only ever really known football since the time I left school. So I thought I'd give it a go. One of my best friends is a personal trainer as well, has his own business, so I mean I can bounce ideas off him, or so I give him a dig out if and when he needs. So it's something new. I've been doing it 6 or 7, 8 months now, and you know what I mean. It's ticking over nicely.
Well, as I say, for someone who's spent his whole life looking after your body, training and all the rest of it, I mean, it strikes me as being perfectly apt and suitable.
Definitely, and it's coaching is what I want to get into now. I've been doing bits and pieces here and there, but it's something that I'll be looking to get into probably what we now, Christmas, probably next season, looking to get in with a proper club to play and coach with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you've played under some probably of the most iconic managers in the League of Ireland over the years.
For all different reasons,
you know. So you'd actually, could you see yourself in the future?
I could see myself coaching, not managing. No, managing is something that I've never really had an interest in. But coaching, like since I first went over to England, I've always loved training. I've loved getting out on the training ground and training hard and working hard, trying to get fitter and all that. I've enjoyed that, and I've done, like I said, I've done some coaching now, and I've enjoyed it. So next best is probably to have properly coach one team and see how it goes from that. So that's something I'll be looking into going into next as well.
Well, look, I wish you all the best in it, Glen, and I'm sure no matter where you go, what direction you go in, you're going to be successful, the same as your football career. And thanks very much for talking to us today.
No problem, my pleasure.